In this series of e-learning, we have discussed various aspects of plant embryology. Till now, we have discussed the development of male gametophyte, female gametophyte, and the complex process of fertilization. A very unique phenomena is being observed in case of angiosperms, which is known as double fertilization. It was first of all observed by S.G. Namaste. As we discussed in earlier lecture, that the pollen tube was having two nuclei, sperm cell 1 and sperm cell 2. The sperm cell 1, it fuses with egg cell to make a zygote, and side by side this sperm cell second, it fused with secondary nucleus to make PEN, that is primary endosperm nucleus. This secondary nucleus was a result of fusion of two nuclei, polar nuclei. So the PEN was 3N in nature. This process where these two sperm cells participates in fertilization and fuses with different nuclei is thereby known as double fertilization. As I told you, it is characteristic of angiosperms. Of endosperm is always prior to the formation of zygote, because this is the tissue that is nutritive in nature and its work is to give nutrition to the developing embryo. According to Russell, 1980, the male cytoplasm also contributes in fertilization, whereas in plants like Plantago, the cytoplasmic inheritance is biparental in nature. Sometimes the fertilization is abnormal and more than one pollen tube enters the embryo sac, which gives more than two sperm cells. Now, one sperm cell from one pollen tube fuses with the egg cell, whereas the sperm cell of another pollen tube fuses with either the synergic cell or with antipodal. But embryo formation doesn't take place in these cases. When different sperm cells from different pollen tubes fertilizes egg and secondary nuclei, then it is known as heterofertilization. One pollen tube giving one sperm cell which fertilizes the egg, another pollen tube giving another sperm cell that fuses with the secondary nucleus making endosperm. Now we call it as heterofertilization. So this was all about this unique phenomena known as double fertilization. Now coming to another very important aspect of embryology, that is the nutritive tissue endosperm. Now, as we all know that endosperm is a nutritive tissue and its main work is to give nutrition to the developing embryo. The development of endosperm is different in case of gymnosperms as well as angiosperms. In angiosperms, what we have studied, that it is a result of fusion of sperm cell 2 with secondary nucleus making a triploid tissue. This takes place only after fertilization, whereas in case of gymnosperms, the endosperm formation is always prior to fertilization, firstly, and secondly, it is an in nature. Formation of PEN, the involvement of male cytoplasm is not there, but the membrane of both secondary nucleus as well as the sperm cell takes place in the formation of PEN. The endosperm is of three types. It can be free nucleus, cellular, and haloidal. Though one more type of endosperm is also there that we'll discuss afterwards. Now, first coming to free nucleus type of endosperm. As the name indicates, the division in this endosperm is free nucleate. It is not followed by wall formation. For example, PEN dividing by mitotic divisions, making two nuclei. This is the embryo, and so many nuclei are formed without any wall formation. That is called as free nuclear endosperm. The number of nuclei may be odd or even, because the nucleus, they do not divide at the same time. Some nuclei may divide faster than other. In MUSA, some nuclei divide faster and they make a group or cluster like this, having a membrane around it, known as endosperm nodule. The microchial nuclei are comparatively shorter than the chalazial ones, which are larger in size. Now, this stage of free nuclear may remain as such till the end, or it may become cellular. Now, this process of cellularization may take place like this. Either the 2/3 of the parietal cells, they make layers like this, while the center remains free nuclear, or the microchial end, it becomes cellular, rest remains free nuclear, or the complete endosperm, it becomes cellular. Now, this is the embryo. The complete endosperm, it becomes cellular. Now, there is one more important observation in this type of endosperm. The endosperm may also make haustoria for absorption of nutrients from the ovary. For example, in Graviella, a vermiform appendage like haustoria is formed from the chalazial end. In Lomatia, this endosperm, it becomes like this. Finger-like projections, they arises from this structure. Now, coming to the second type of development of endosperm, which is known as cellular endosperm, and as the name indicates, the nuclear divisions are followed by wall formation. The first division is transverse, like this, which is then followed by many more transverse divisions. and later long-term divisions also take place, making it a cellular structure, and each cell has got a nucleus. One or more nuclei may be present. The mature endosperm, it looks like a compartment-like structure. In some plants like impatiens, the haustoria is formed from the micropylar end like this. A mass of cells that comes out like this in impatiens. In case of iodina, a mass of cells comes out from the chelazal end, which functions as haustoria. In magnolia, the haustoria, it comes from 2 or 3 chelazal cells like this. In some members like Ruellia, which belongs to Acanthaceae, Melampyrum, and Blumenbachia, the haustoria is formed from both the micropylar as well as chelazal ends. The function of these haustoria is to get additional supply of nutrients for the developing embryo. Now coming to the third type of development of endosperm, which is halovial. In this type of endosperm development, the first division, the first nuclear division is followed by wall formation, but after that there is no wall formation. It is, we can say, it's a combination of both free cellular as well as free nuclear as well as cellular endosperm development. It is mostly found in monocots. This is the micropylar end and this is the chelazal end. Most of the part of this endosperm is formed from the micropylar part. Now this was all about various types of endosperms, their development and their structure. Now coming to another type of endosperm, which is not another type of endosperm, and we call it as ruminate endosperm. Now this you must have seen in some plants like Adical nut, mystical nut, and some other families in which some contour-like structures are found, or modifications are found on the surface of endosperm. They develop in the later stages of endosperm in any type, maybe cellular, maybe free nuclear or halovial, and these are nothing but just modifications on the surface of the endosperm, that we call it as ruminate endosperm. Coming to the one more important aspect of endosperm, that is the cytology of endosperm. Cytology, as we all know, that the PEN, that is primary endosperm nucleus, was 3N in nature. So the basic number is triploid in endosperm. But in haustoria of endosperm, polyploidy is found to the extent that it may reach to 2, 4, 5, 7, 6x. In Thecaeum, it may be 384x. So the level of polyploidy may be much more than we expected. Normally the endosperm is without chlorophyll, but in certain plants like Raphanus, Viscum, chlorophyll is present because it is exposed to the light. The endospermic cells mostly are isodiametric and they may be enlarged. In cereals, the outermost layer of the endosperm, it becomes meristematic and they collect pollen, proteins, enzymes and alluvium grains inside it, and we call it as alluvium layer. Since endosperm is the nutritive tissue, it can store carbohydrates, lipids, proteins. Now, coming to the morphological nature of endosperm, where different scientists have given different views on the nature of the endosperm. Coming to the morphological nature of endosperm, different authors like Hofmeister in 1861 regarded endosperm as a gametophytic tissue whose growth remains arrested before the entry of pollen tube. According to Lamnier 1887, he described endosperm as second embryo which gets modified for its function. According to Navastin 1898, triple fusion was regarded as the true act of fertilization, and the endosperm is the result of this double fertilization. Whereas Strasburger in 1900 considered triple fusion as vegetative fertilization. Cooper and Bring 1905 proposed that endosperm is neither gametophyte nor sporophyte, but it is a tissue of special physiological importance. So friends, in this e-learning session, we have seen a lot of aspects of this nutritive tissue endosperm, its formation, its morphological nature, its cytology, and how this endosperm is being formed. In the next lecture of e-learning session of this plant embryology, we shall be discussing about embryogeny and some more aspects of plant embryology. Thank you.